we are here at Razer TV, and we have Razer Active today, and we have some of our favoriteest guests with us today. We have first Dylan.
Thank you.
Yes, Arsenal fan. We have two Arsenal fans in the house again.
Flying,
and then
exactly.
like for once, you know, Royston's like,
No problem. They need wingers.
okay. And everybody, of course, knows RJ. What's up, RJ? Now, your team, never mind, we all know, huh? And then, of course, there's Ben. There's Ben.
We haven't got to Liverpool yet, okay?
Well, you know. Like,
and Robbie Keane.
Let's not talk about him.
How much? £20? Okay.
I wish he's only worth that right now. Well, okay, the first thing that we're going to talk about today will be the Champions League. Because no matter what, right, don't you guys think, I don't know if it's just me, but I always think that the Champions League always affects their performance in Premier League. Because it's a Wednesday match. Wow, this is the first time I've heard all of you quiet.
We're thinking, that's why. Yeah.
Wow.
It really depends. I mean, for me, I would say, you got players playing in and out every week. And then, you suddenly dump in some reserves in. Now, how do they click with the team? That is the big question. I would put across. You come to let's say Champions League, or let's say you're playing in a league or Carling Cup.
Yeah.
You haven't been playing, and then suddenly you're just thrown in. It's very difficult to just suddenly blend in with the other players. You need to read the game, you need to understand, all that kind of thing. So it's a little difficult. So when you said that, we just kept quiet. I was just thinking, okay.
So it is. It will affect. Yes.
It will. If you're going to put the same 11 players out again, I give them 75 minutes, and after that, they're going to really tire out. Run themselves to the ground.
The midweek games so far as well. I mean, all of them. Right? I'm looking at the Carling Cup and looking at the Champions League. The last 6 weeks or so, the midweek games have all been very, very, very quiet. I don't think any of the big four have gone in and come out and produced any kind of stunning results. If anything, at best, most people get away with the minimal. If it's a draw, they get away with a draw. I mean, I don't think we've seen any sort of sparks in the midweek game recently. I don't know why. I think every team's sort of facing their own problems. I mean, for Arsenal, obviously, it's a rotating crew. And like RJ was saying, I mean, it's a different bunch of people that are playing midweek, and then it's for some reason. I mean, the weekend games, the managers are putting a bit more importance into those. I mean, for obvious reasons as well, I think.
Why for obvious reasons? What's the obvious reason?
Well, the Champions League has come to an end. A lot of them, especially in the week that just passed, a lot of the teams just needed besides Chelsea, a lot of them needed just like a draw to sort of qualify. Yeah, you could see. I mean, a lot of them went in and just did their best, or whatever their best was.
Was that good enough? I don't know, Ben. What do you think?
I mean, from the Arsenal perspective, I fully support what he did, because I think the priority is Borough. We've qualified. And what he said before, whether you finish top or second, not much difference. You look at the quality of players that you're going to, or teams that you're going to meet in the next round. It doesn't really matter whether you meet the top side or second side. It's going to be a tough fight. And it's arguable whether home or away is better. The point is, if you're going to win the thing, you've got to beat the sides eventually. So I agree with what he's done. But what I was more surprised with, I don't know about the other two teams, was the performance. I mean, let's not knock Porto. I think there's a statistic that was given. Porto and United, the only two sides I think have a record 14 appearances in the 17 years since they changed format or something like that. And Porto are a good side. So considering we whacked them 4-0 when they came to the Emirates, even with the first team to go and get a result, they've not lost to an English team ever.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that.
It was going to be a difficult ask. So the result doesn't bother me. I think what I'm more upset with is the players that were put out. And Wenger means it when he says he expects them to win. I mean, people say, oh, he's just saying that for the sake of the media. But it's happened before. We've put out a younger, more inexperienced side, and they've gone away from home and got a good result. And I think that's what's disappointed me the most, that the players, the senior players whom we expect have got a point of proof, are not doing it. For me, that's been the biggest disappointment.
For example, I would have thought Manchester United would have beaten Alba.
I didn't think so, because
Really?
I knew Alex Ferguson was going to pull out his main players.
So why play only B teams when it's supposed to be a big cup?
You need to rest your players. You gotta, should I say, many games? I mean, looking at United right now.
Do you think it's too distracting than having like the Champions League?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe it's a big task for some of the youngsters to be thrown in. You got to have that mental power. You know, I was watching a program on Gold TV, and it was actually talking about players. It was talking about one particular player. I can't remember his name. It was a striker, and they bought him from a Division 3. This was back in the 70s. And they brought him into Old Trafford, right, to United, to play down the wings. He was terrified. He was really shivering. When he walked out Old Trafford, at the time it was like 55,000. He said he just couldn't wait to get out of Old Trafford.
Why?
He just couldn't take the pressure.
It's a pressurizing thing.
It depends. That's why, it's whether the players can actually walk out on the big stage. We're talking about players like Rooney, Ronaldo, the likes of Van Persie, these players, they've got this urge, they've got this fire to show what they've got. But then you get those who, they can do well, but they don't have that mental fire to take them to the next level. That's a bit of a problem. So when you have teams like now Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, okay, these teams, they've got a big squad. They need a big squad, let's face it, because they've got Carling Cup, they've got FA Cup, they've got the Premiership, they've got the Champions League.
Yeah.
Now you need to spread your players out. So you give them chances to actually play, and you give other players a chance to rest as well, because there's going to be knocks, there's going to be suspensions. So you need to rotate. Yeah. The problem is that with the likes of managers, can they get it right? They see the players playing, during the sort of like breakout sessions, training sessions that they're having. Okay, good, they're doing well. But when it comes to actually put the first 11 out there, who it's going to be, and you have an opponent who's got a game plan to stifle you, to make it difficult for you, to put 10 men behind, to make sure that it is just so impossible to break through. Now, then, that's the next step. The mental strength comes in. Then you need leaders to take you to that next level. That's the bit of a problem that I see that players are. I mean, I find Arsenal is a very, very good team. The problem is that they need a natural born leader to take them to that level. They need something like a Tony Adams, that kind of figure to take you to the next level.
But I think they have him now. I think Tony Adams came to team 21. Whether it's significant, I don't know, but Fabregas, 21.
Yeah.
Hasn't lost the game as captain, has 100% record as captain.
Right.
And I think...
But not that many matches as captain yet.
It's better than...
Yeah.
You see, the difference I think Fabregas makes to the team is his leadership. I mean, I agree with you. I wish we had that Tony Adams style, shout at players. But I think it doesn't work nowadays, especially with the type of players Arsenal have. I'm not convinced it works.
I don't know.
But with Fabregas, you know why his presence is makes such a difference. The players see what he does. He doesn't stop running. He keeps going, and I think that is what. It's like the first game he played against Wigan. I mean, no, not Wigan. What is the one? The one that Bettner scored. No. The one that Bettner scored. Anyway, he was having a quiet game, but that free kick, that moment of brilliance, he never gave up. Played a lovely ball through. Bettner scored 1-0. Wigan, I think it was Wigan. That's right. And I think that's the difference. We have that captain now. I think for the first time this season, I actually believe Arsenal can do it. Not because we've got the squad is any different, but now we have a person as captain who, on the pitch, will show the rest what to do. Just hope he doesn't get injured.
Just hope. Just hope.
Poor Torres.
Just hope.
Poor Torres.
Yeah, let's not talk about Torres.
What's his name? What's his name?
Let's not talk about Torres. The poor
I just want to say something, about little bit about Arsenal and overall. You need somebody to lead. Remember, this is the English game. It's not the Italian league. It's not the Spanish league. It's very different. The crowd, wants a lot more. So you need somebody who has to give you that firm authority, because or not, you're going to get the fans at you. But at least you got your captain who can talk to you, who can push you through. You need somebody to have that, and it's been that way. And somehow, if you're going to try and change that, it's going to fizzle out some way. You know, I don't know. Somehow it's just the British culture, you know, in their football. It's a completely different ball game.
Okay, well, I think the Championship League, right, is completely different ball game from BPL as well. I really do think so.
Well, for me, I would still take that mentality, right?
And
That mentality, right, and go into that competition. You don't have to play the formation of a 4-4-2. You know, you should go and play. I don't know, it depends on the team. You can play a 4-3-3, you know. Yeah. I like a 4-3-3, a very attacking side for me. I like that kind of team to go in because then you put teams in a very defensive mode. So it really depends. It depends on your game plan, and frankly, it depends on the team that you're going to actually play against.
But I think like the championship games, right? I mean the Champions League games are a lot more competitive because of all the teams that are actually in there. I think what sort of frustrates me on certain weeks, and that's why sometimes I don't actually I don't I don't pay attention, right? Because I think when it comes to the league, some teams are just out to frustrate the big teams, and that makes for a really boring game sometimes. So I actually quite like the Champions League game. I just wish the results were, like RJ and Ben was saying was a little bit more competitive with all the. I mean, it's your one chance to sort of see the English team play the other big teams in Europe. So I definitely like to see them put a little bit more effort, a little bit more consistency, a little bit more commitment in the next round.
Interesting. Okay, well, I don't know if you guys think that the current format of the Champions League is fair or not. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. What do you guys think? Yes or no?
I think rules are like that. People are gonna have to argue, and hopefully it's people get used to it after a while. Hopefully it's to improve the game. But so be it. What can we do, right?
I think if you're talking about format, this is the most successful money-making format, and let's not
Which
forget.
is probably why
Let's not forget that's what it is.
No, I agree with Ben totally on this.
If you were going with the original format of the European Cup, winners only. I mean, granted now Europe has expanded tremendously, but there's a way you can have preliminary rounds like they do in the League Cup, where it's still a knockout tournament, and you get the final winners there. So I don't think they should have ever deviated from that format. But the reality,
money are happy.
Well, that's the reality. It is there for the money, and I think it doesn't devalue the competition in terms of the teams you get to play. But you can't really call it a Champions League or a European Cup kind of thing anymore. I mean, they should have changed the name completely. But I mean, it's no point arguing it's here to stay. It's going to be there.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a good chance for teams to test themselves against really the top of Europe, and that's the way to look at it and go forward.
It's good entertainment, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
definitely.
Well, football is entertainment.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to.
Though I've got one thing to say.
Oh, what?
I think to make it more competitive.
I never am allowed to go on break. What?
To make it more competitive, they should allow the UEFA Cup winners of the previous season to enter the Champions League the next year.
Wow.
And on a controversial
That
note.
is actually quite, On that note,
I disagree.
I
totally
on
disagree.
that note, we will take
Be good.
curry puff break, and then after that, Teacher Sara is going to tell you exactly about the format that they are playing now. So.